Thank you very much, Chairman Thune, and thank you for focusing this hearing on this very, very important topic. And let me first just say that I want FirstNet to succeed, ensuring our nation's first responders have the communications tools they need should be a top priority of this committee. Despite lessons learned from the terrorist attacks of 9/11, our first responders still do not have nationwide interoperable communications network. As many of you know, in an emergency, this can be a matter of life and death. In my home state of New Mexico, I'm pleased that the Recovery Act Broadband grant helped upgrade the state's public safety communications. This hopefully puts my state a step ahead as FirstNet becomes operable. One concern I have is that Congress sometimes makes good policies but then fails to follow through by adequately funding their implementation, and I think that could well be a case here. Building FirstNet is clearly no easy task, and I want Congress to give FirstNet a chance to succeed. It is important first responders have the communications tools they need to protect all of us. Now, many senators have already raised the rural issue. I think rural is tremendously important in New Mexico, and so I want you to focus on that. Ms. Swenson, you talked in your written testimony, and I think to a question asked by Senator Daines about tribal, the tribal issues and how tribes are going to be included. I want to applaud you on having a person dedicated to the tribes. I mean, that's usually the way it works best, is somebody that really understands these tribal issues, develops a long-term relationship and works with them. Could you expand a little more on your testimony, your written testimony about how you're going to make sure that tribes aren't left out in this
Certainly.
moving forward?
You know, as you know, the Act really requires that we engage with tribals, so there was no ambiguity about that. So we're very clear about that. But setting that aside, FirstNet really understands the importance of tribes. We, as you said, we have a person dedicated to that within FirstNet, and I think that's actually unique for an organization like us to actually dedicate a resource to that. We also have, as part of the Public Safety Advisory Council, a tribal working group, and that is focused on tribal issues so that it's represented within the public safety community and the tribal group. That particular group, small group, had a meeting in Washington, D.C. just 2 weeks ago, and so it is a very high priority for us. In fact, when I was in a town hall meeting a couple of weeks ago, the representative, the tribal representative from our organization was there at the town hall. We had tribal representation at the town hall meeting, and he was actually going to get in his car and drive along the coast and meet with as many tribal organizations as possible. So he's out and about, and as I mentioned, one of our board members, Kevin McGinnis, who's from the EMS community, has actually been taking on that responsibility as a board member to go out and make sure that we're reaching out, making the tribes aware of it, and also making sure that the tribal representation is part of consultation, because it's really important that they're at those meetings, at the state meetings, so we can understand their perspective as well. So we're very, very focused on that and consider it a very high priority.
Yeah, and as you said, the consultation part is tremendously important. I mean, the tribes really look to the federal government to look at and see that they're going to be communicated with and consulted with on these kinds of issues. So we appreciate what you're doing and hope we have your commitment to work and make sure that they're not left out.
You absolutely do. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.